Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting a new series that I've been so excited to work on. If you grew up in the 90s, you can't forget the iconic Nickelodeon cartoon TV show, Hey Arnold. Written by Craig Bartlett, Hey Arnold was an animated TV series that aired on Nickelodeon from 1996 to 2004. It follows Arnold, a kind-hearted and optimistic fourth grader with a football-shaped head. His parents went missing when he was a baby, so he lived with his eccentric grandparents, Gertie and Phil, in a boarding house. The neighborhood he lived in was called Hillwood, and it was based on urban areas in Washington, New York, and Oregon. I plan to create the entire Hillwood neighborhood, so I'll have a lot more builds in this series. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for new builds and the latest updates. Hey Arnold is currently streaming on Paramount Plus, and I also started trivia on my community posts, so be sure to check it out to see just how much you remember. So I placed this build on a 40 by 30 lot in Newcrest. Of course, the best lot type for this build would be a residential rental using the for rent pack. However, since some people experience bugs with that particular pack, I set the lot type to residential, just in case you don't own for rent. I haven't had any issues with that pack recently, so I've been play testing with it, being set as a residential rental. But if I run into any issues, I'll be sure to let you guys know. In one episode, one of the boarders, Mr. Potts, complains that there's 13 boarders and only one bathroom. This was before, they found out about Grandpa's secret bathroom in the basement. I only could fit a total of 7 bedrooms in this boarding house, so good luck squeezing 13 boarders in those rooms. There's also space to build in the attic if you wanted to add more boarding rooms. The main packs I used in this build were Cats and Dogs, Cottage Living, High School Years, and Laundry Day. But I also used items from the Businesses and Hobbies pack for rent and Get Together. So this was probably the most difficult build I've built so far. The only cartoon I've done was the Proud Family, and their rooms lined up pretty well. For the boarding house though, the shell of the outside didn't always match the inside. So when you're on the first and second floor, the outside of my build matches the show pretty well. It looks like that of the show. However, once you're on the third floor in Arnold's room, the outside looks completely different than the show. As we walk through the inside, I'll explain why I had to do it that way, just so you can know that I tried to make it look exactly the same, but I really had to add that third floor. The 2 first floor windows to the left led to the TV room / living room or parlor area, and these 2 windows were in the dining room. Matching up the windows definitely helped me figure out the first floor layout because there are a lot of inconsistencies throughout the seasons. The front door I used is from the Businesses and Hobbies pack. In the show, it didn't have those big windows, but this is the closest I could get. Since I'm creating the neighborhood, I didn't want any empty space next to Arnold's house. I wanted it to feel like, it's a busy town. So I put a shell of a home next to the boarding house. You're more than welcome to finish this area, but I kept it empty. So now let's check out the inside. The front entryway is shown many times throughout the show with minor adjustments made between episodes. It had a coat rack, grandfather clock, and a small table with some pictures on the wall. This doorway that leads to the dining room appears in some episodes. I chose to follow the episode where Mr. Smith had a secret package being delivered and Arnold tried to keep the boarders from opening it. In the beginning of that episode, Arnold is eating breakfast in the dining room and the boarders are having a discussion about just how strange Mr. Smith is. From this angle, we then see Mr. Smith walking down the stairs and tipping his hat to the boarding house animals. Now let's head to the basement. The basement was shown in a good amount of episodes. I used the episode where Arnold's pet pig Abner took Helga's locket that had the picture of Arnold in it. Arnold's grandma ends up getting it from Abner and she gives it to Phil, which is Arnold's grandfather. Phil thinks it's a gift for their anniversary, so he keeps it and he's showing everybody in the neighborhood the locket of Arnold. To get it back, Helga ends up hiding in a chest in the basement while Arnold and Grandpa try to pry the locket open and change the picture from Arnold to Grandma. To the left of this area is the laundry room. This is where you'll need the laundry day pack, of course. I also put the cat hangout from the cats and dogs pack down here since Grandma had a lot of cats. In the episode Four-Eyed Jack, Gerald, Arnold, and the boarders go hunting for a ghost rumored to haunt the boarding house on stormy nights, looking for his lost glasses. By the end of the episode, they end up following noises that they were hearing throughout the house down to the basement, and they stumble across Grandpa's secret bathroom. So I made sure to include that extra bathroom down here. So now let's head to the kitchen. So now we are entering the kitchen. The kitchen was the most difficult because I also wanted to match the back of the house to the cartoon so they looked, the same. In order to do that, I had to make sure the back door that led to the backyard was in this corner. The episode where the city was going through a heat wave showed this kitchen layout where the boarders were standing around the air conditioner trying to stay cool. Now we can check out the backyard. Here's the shot of the back of the house, which I tried to line up with the show. I included the greenhouse from the episode where Arnold and Helga were science partners for a school project and were observing ants. This gate leads to the garage, which is where Grandpa stored his Packard. So if anybody finds a custom content Packard, let us know in the comments. I would love to add that feature to my build to make it perfect. But let's go back inside and check out the rest of the first floor. The living room area or parlor mostly stayed the same throughout the seasons. I added curtains and some other objects just to make the space feel a little bit more homey. So the dartboard was actually on the right side, kind of closer to the door, but it wouldn't have been functional in that area, so I placed it behind the couch instead. But let's finally check out the upstairs. So once you reach the top of the stairwell, the first door you'll see leads to the staircase that takes you to the attic and rooftop. To the left of that was the shared bathroom. So in the episode where Oscar learns how to read, he's seen in the bathroom almost taking tablets for scum-free fishbowl water, thinking they were aspirin. So I definitely drew inspiration from that episode. They also had a bidet next to the toilet, but we don't have those, so I just put the toilet from the for rent pack there. Across from the shared bathroom was Grandpa and Grandma's room. So this was an awkward shape to fill in, so I had to make some adjustments. Some scenes in their room were when Grandpa was considering selling the boarding house and he was beginning to pack, and when Arnold and Grandma was going to protest in front of the Circle Theater. Okay, so here is where I decided to create that third floor for Arnold's room. If you were to look at the outside, this window was supposed to lead to Arnold's room. However, Arnold's room was located in the attic, so it wasn't level with the second floor. And he had to walk up, a flight of stairs to reach his room. So I tried to find ways to raise like this back room to kind of fill that in and make that Arnold's room. But the stairs wouldn't have been tall enough and it just wasn't working out. So I had to add the third floor to keep his room centered with the staircase. So this is the floor where you can find the borders. I didn't decorate all of the rooms to reflect the show just because my layout is different than that of the show, but I did add certain features to reflect the characters living in them. The first room we'll check out is Mr. Smith's. I kept it unfurnished so you can add your own spin on it. According to Oscar, Mr. Smith had a split level suite with his own bathroom, so I tried to incorporate that within the build. This helped take up some extra space for that attic as well. The next door down was Mr. Wynn's room. I didn't have any wallpaper with bananas on it, so I just added an old-fashioned yellow wallpaper. I included his guitar since he became a country singer in one episode. He had his own kitchen, so I turned this little space into a one-bedroom apartment. So the room across from Mr. Wynn was Oscar and Susie's room. So they were the married couple in the boarding house that were always fighting, and Oscar never got a job, and Susie was overworked and underpaid. I was so happy to include them and kind of play their storyline. They also have a small one-bedroom apartment with a little kitchen as well. This room could be used for Mr. Potts or Dino Spumoni. So Mr. Potts' room, when they showed it, didn't really have much furniture in it. It was just like an empty room with bricks or a desk. So I figured I'd decorate this room just with the basics and you can choose who you want to play as. So now, the moment you all have been waiting for, we can finally head to Arnold's room. So this was probably the most memorable and iconic room of the 90s. Everybody wanted a room like Arnold's. Now, since Arnold's room was in the attic, his walls were slanted, but I created just a standard room. I used the wall shelves from the high school years pack to create his bookshelf, and the TV and radio are also functional. The cool thing about his room was that this ladder led to the rooftop. Now, the rooftop had a water tower, piano, and a telescope. I added some string lights for when they decide to throw parties and get-togethers up here. I loved the episode when Arnold was having a rough day, and Grandma cheered him up by playing a song on the piano. But that is it. We have finally toured the full walkthrough of the boarding house from Hey Arnold. I typically make a custom content version and then like a no CC version. But for my cartoon builds, I just feel like it's better to keep them custom content free. So I will not be adding any custom content to this build. If you are on PC and you don't feel like creating Arnold's family and the borders, I will have them all available to download on my Patreon. I dressed them using cats and dogs and cottage living, so you will need those 2 packs if you want them to be fully clothed. Now, I'm still playtesting this build, but it will be available to download for early access on Patreon this Friday before being uploaded to the gallery. Make sure you like and subscribe for more TV show and movie builds. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.